की, श्री श्री सीताराम हनुमान की, युद्ध में नाम संकीर्तन की, जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। इस विश्व के जितने भी माता हैं इनकी जय जयकार। हरे कृष्णा। हैप्पी मदर्स डे। हरे। So, dear family members, Hare Krishna. So today is a special day, right? We are meeting for several occasions. Mother's Day, plus we also have Kevin's birthday, and also Jeremy and Dia. You'll be flying back to Australia. New phase in life, right? So when you reached, we started with prayer, and while you are parting, we also are ending with prayer. Prayer is part of life. We cannot stay without prayer. तो चलिए हम लोग शुरू करते हैं मंगलाचरण से। हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। सब दोनों हाथ प्रेम से बोलिए हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। और एक बार प्रेम से बोलिए हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। बोलिए श्री श्री राधा गोलोकानंद भगवान की। निज मन मुकुर निज मन मुकुर जोदायक भजचारि हो राम जोदायक भजचारि राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम राम बलबुद्धि विद्यते हो मोहि धर्म करे सविकार हो राम धर्म करे सविकार राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम राम श्री राम राम तेरा राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम जय मंगल भय सुंदर हारी दशरथ अजिर बिहारी ओम मंगल भय सुंदर हारी दशरथ अजिर बिहारी Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. Yudhaminam Sankirtan ki. Jadguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaur Premanande. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. So, I think today we have the class special in English, so that Jeremy can understand, right? We'll try to mix it, it won't be long. I've been given strict to end by 7, so we have only 20 minutes. I will go more on that, okay? Usually when we do Kirtan, we do Kirtan for 45 minutes usually, right? So today we did a bit less, okay? So, like we mentioned, we have several occasions today, but we're going to mainly focus on Jeremy and Dia today. And for everyone to understand that we all share a very beautiful relationship, right? As family. Nowadays it's not easy to have family, right? You see, in so many families, children are fighting for no reason. Brothers, sisters fighting. Sometimes for property, sometimes due to ego, sometimes due to ignorance. There's always some kind of, several reasons why. Because this is the age of deterioration. This is called the age of hypocrisy. It's called Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, we have to be very, very cautious. If we want to stay united, then we need to open our heart. Right? We have to open our heart, and today I'm going to use the heart as an acronym and to share a few important points in relationship building. It's not only between married couples, it's your relationship with anyone. Okay? So sometimes when I talk of relationship, means relationship with anyone. Someone might be having a relationship with his pet, with his dog. Still there also you have to open your heart. Else it won't be a pet, it won't be part of the family. Okay? So let's talk about human beings, most importantly. Why? Because is it easy to have or to be born in this species of human beings? We see so many animals suffering outside, right? They're sleeping outside on the road. It's very cold nowadays in Mauritius. Started. So they're suffering. It's called karma. But we human beings, we have so many facilities. You have a house, you have your air conditioning, everything, so you can sleep in a very, cozy bedroom, a very desired temperature. You have the choice, right? But unluckily, animals don't have. Unless The animal's karma also is that he is a pet in the house, right? So also enjoying a very, cozy cushion and sleeping. Maybe having good food. So why I'm using the term pet also? Because when a pet has a good master, the pet is happy. So, do we have a good master? All of us. Yes. Our good master is our well-wisher, Lord Shri Krishna, who's always there in our hearts. God is there in our heart. He's the best ever well-wisher, who's never going to leave us. Family will leave us at some point of time. Next mention our Holy Scriptures and something logical. At the time of death, what happens? Who's going to cry the most? Who cries the most? Kevin has heard about that. Right? You heard about this lecture? Right. Who cries the most? Does the wife cry the most? Actually, the mother cries the most. Because the relationship between the mother and the son, or relationship between mother and daughter, we can't understand that relationship with mother. That's why today's Mother's Day. This is a special program we're doing today. Sometimes mothers look for us. Even it's very late night. She's calling us, where are you? And we get annoyed. Why is she calling me now? She's disturbing me now. I'm enjoying life with my friends. Right? This is mother's heart. And those who have a mother know. And those who've lost their mothers, they know what's there in that. She is the one such personality that you'll never ever meet again in this lifetime. That's why we have to do everything so that we don't make our mothers suffer. There's a saying that you can have several people who can act as your father. But mother, no one can take her place. Now talking of relationship, heart. So let's see how we can, using this acronym today. So how do we spell heart? Heart. So in any relationship, first letter H. Humility. We have to be humble in the relationship. And what's the worst enemy of humility is our ego. I'm the husband in the house. So whatever I say, everyone must listen to what I'm saying. With his ego. But then, if we have humility, okay, everyone has got their say. Everyone can voice out, then we decide which is good or which is not good. Right? So this makes a difference in relationship. So humility, right? I think everyone accepts it. In all kinds of relationship. Mostly for married couples. And there are lots of compromise that have to be there. When it comes to married life, we're talking about our experience. Yes, most of us. Some are more experienced, some are less experienced, but then experience is there. Some are new to it. So it's very important to, most of the time to be very, very humble. Because if we put our ego in front of us, we'll never be able to, we won't like to hear. Because the next now is E, where we have an ear, and we have to hear with lots of empathy. So the second one is empathy. When you hear someone, when listening to someone, you should show that really you're interested and you're showing some interest in hearing with attention. Maybe you don't have a solution for the problem, but at least you're hearing. That helps a lot. The person is coming in crying in front of you, okay, just hear. Just hear. You don't have a solution? No problem. But just hear. So this is called empathy. First, humility. Second, empathy. Next, which is very much lacking nowadays in families, A for appreciation. We don't appreciate each other. Most of the time we are just what? Just exploiting the other person. There's no appreciation. We remember several times you have seen people and those who are experienced, they say when a girl gets married and goes to another man's house, the man should understand that he is not marrying his servant. That girl is sacrificing her entire family. She's not breaking the ties, but then she is leaving her own comfort zone and then venturing in a new zone. So then the responsibility of the husband is to make sure that he creates a better comfort zone for his wife. So that is about appreciation. Someday, the wife cooks a very, delicious preparation. Maybe some laddus. Then Ashley, obviously you should go and appreciate, today you gave laddu. Now sometimes she's very busy or tired and, she just prepared some khichdi. And you don't like eating khichdi, but still, you need some appreciation. It's like, it's very, very difficult to come to that level, to appreciate someone. We always have the tendency to criticize. Criticism you hear everywhere. Starting with our Prime Minister. How many people are appreciating the Prime Minister? No one. Everyone is just criticizing. Right? But poor fellow, he's, the population, the citizens voted for him, right? You chose him as the Prime Minister. Okay. Whether he's doing good or not, sometimes some appreciation, some silent prayer for those people. Like we mentioned last time when we were doing the Narasimha Yajna, we mentioned that the entire world is a family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We are all family. So somewhere, if someone is just having a very silent prayer for you, that's the best thing we can do. Do we pray for others? You need not give me the answer. Do we have the habit of praying for others? I think Diksha is in a situation where most of the time you might be praying for others, right? I'm pretty sure you do that. When you see someone suffering in hospital, so silent prayer for that soul. So dear Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Narasimhadev, dear God, whatever name you call him, please, this soul is suffering. Please help him. Please help him. So appreciation, as we mentioned, very, very important. So H for humility, right? E for empathy. A for appreciation. And when you start appreciating the other person, comes respect automatically. If you don't appreciate a person, there won't be respect. Awe won't be there. Then just remove the then heart becomes heat. Then start having heated discussions. So respect is very, very important. Sometimes there are lots of controversies in the house and discussions and this and that. I'm talking from my own experience. My good wife is there with me. We have lots of discussion, right? Lots of heated discussions. But then at some point of time, we know everything is just cooling down. Then again, that balance comes back. And then there is again that kind of mutual respect. That's more important. Now if we put again our enemy in front of us, ego, that no, I'm right. I'm always right. Then what's going to happen? Jokingly it's okay. Most of the time the husband says, okay, wifey, you're right. You're always right. Good. Just to pacify her. Right. Let go, let her win, no problem. I put it in practice, I know. Okay, you won, I lost, no problem. But finally, who is winning? I know I'm winning. You're winning by losing, no problem. Because this is going to save you from lots of unwanted what? Unwanted conflicts. And most importantly, unwanted mental stress. As your whole day will be spoiled. You'll be just thinking, in the morning, I should have won that, that argument. I know I'm right. That I is actually the ego. So let go. Most of the time, we have to let go. Right? So this will come with appreciation and respect. And everything together, the whole package is there. You have to show your humility, listen empathically. Next one, appreciate, show respect. And above all, very, very important, we should learn how to tolerate. Because we are not all made of the same, we should say. We are made of the same element, right? The 5 elements, right? But in different proportion, due to different cultures, due to different this and that, and so many things. No two persons are going to be identical in their way of acting. We know Diya and Diksha are twins, right? But do they act the same way? I don't think so. Right? So everyone has got their own identity, their own package, that we say, the whole package. You know what I mean? You're taking the whole package. Huh? It's not only the, only Diya and Diya's body going with you. No, the whole package. So the whole package of ego, her own mind, her own intelligence, and this family culture. Yeah. So I think this is something very important I wanted to share with Jeremy and Diya and everyone. Obviously, I think it makes sense. It helps, right? The heart, yeah, it helps everyone. Even when you're working, at work also it helps. The boss is yelling at you. Just keep quiet and go. He's wrong. Okay, let him yell. After some time, just go and say, okay, some laddu for you, sir. We appreciate you a lot. Thank you for the chastisement. But we are a team. So together everyone achieves more. So we are not going to leave you anywhere. You're just like our father, right? You're the boss. So use few diplomatic words helps a lot. We should know how to use diplomacy. Diplomacy has been explained in several ways. Most of the time we start with, showing that we are equals in diplomacy. We are okay on the same ground. There is one Rishi Muni. All the philosophers have been saints. So, Kautilya Rishi, I don't know if you heard about him. You can go and read about him. He's explained about diplomacy. Within diplomacy, in any relationship also. Right? So one is, we show that you're like. We call it as sam. Hum log sam hai. Ek saman. We are like. So like this, there's some kind of relationship building. Is that okay? So first is some diplomacy. You try. So if that works, very good. Then after that, what is there? We are going to talk about 4 different types of diplomacy. How it should progress actually. So we start with dialogues. So then next you start giving some gift. That is called dan. If you want to build up a relationship, you give that person a gift. He's happy. Everyone is so happy when you give him a gift. Right? Is any fool in this world who is going to refuse a gift? Everyone wants to get gifts. Giving, no one wants to give, but they want to get. Right? So that's something there. When you give gifts to others, somewhere that diplomacy, that relationship building is there. Right? So first one is some. Okay, you're alike, right? You're on the same level, you think in the same way, right? So some. Next one is dan, right? Now this doesn't work. The other two are a bit on the other side. They're not so good. So then there is bhed, divide and rule. But this is not so good actually. So these first two are the best. Dialogue. Go. Come to a certain compromise. That's it. Okay? So some, dan, then next is bhed. Bhed means you're creating some kind of division to divide and rule. Right. And the worst one, last one is dand, that means punishment by force. This is the last recourse actually, which is not so good. Which one do you prefer, Rina? Out of the four. In first and second. Everyone works on the first and second. All those big diplomats. And then we can't go to the level of Modi who's going and bombarding other countries. That is what? Punishment, the last one. This is diplomatic man, right? But then, this is the reaction. Anyway, so we're going to end today's Satsanga here on a very important note. In Sanatana Dharma in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, I could have asked Guru Gofer to look for it. But then I'll just talk about one very interesting personality. A king, empowered king. His name is Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj was an empowered incarnation of the Lord. Empowered, Shakti-Avesh Avatar. Empowered by the Lord to rule the entire world. He was the emperor. Remember, at one time, we had only one emperor, and the whole world was one family. And nowadays we see there are so many partitions, right? I don't have to give you. You read history, you see. The whole world was only one. But then later on, it happened that, we see, just see a few examples. In the yesterdecades, what did we see? Russia has disintegrated into so many small countries. Right? But then, it was one. This what we have learned, right? We have seen with our eyes, we have experienced. But previously the whole world was one family. Only one. So Prithu Maharaj, one of his teachings is very important. Let's see the teachings. It's going to be very helpful. Mostly for married couples. So you can repeat, the words are in Sanskrit. You can try to repeat. बोलिए मातृ भक्ति परस्त्रीषु पत्न्याम अर्ध इवात्मनः प्रजासु पितृवत् स्निग्धः किंकरो ब्रह्म वादिनाम. So 4 important instructions by King Prithu. He lived that life. First one, Matri Bhakti Parastrishu. Every man, every decent man, Matri Bhakti Parastrishu. Parastrishu means any other wife, or any other woman. He has to give her respect just like his own mother. Matri Bhakti Parastrishu. So like this, if we see any other woman just like our mother, on Mother's Day today, right, we are never going to get, into illicit affairs. Right? This helps a lot, right? This is how the world should work. This is how every man should function. Matri Bhakti Parastrishu. There's Bhakti. You worship Parastrishu just like your mother. Very strict one. Second one now. Patnyam Ardha Ivatmana. This is from where the concept of better half has come. Patnya means your patni, means your wife. Ardha means your half. Ivatmana means you have to see your wife as your better half. You see from where it's coming? From our holy scriptures. Third one. Prajasu Pitrivat Snigdha. Prajasu means your subjects. In this way, all your dependents. You're like the king in the house, right? Who are the dependents? You have your wife, you have your children, you have all the living entities in your house, the pets and so many, even the cockroach. Right? So you have to show lots of snigdha means what? With lots of sneha. Snigdha comes out with sneha, with lots of love and affection. Prajasu pitrivat. Just like a father sees his own son with lots of affection, this is how the king is supposed to be seeing, or the boss is supposed to be seeing his subordinates with lots of affection. Right? And the last one, Kinkaro Brahmavadina. When you come across any saintly person, you should feel your knowledge is kind of nothing in front of that person. On the contrary, you should go and beg, show your respect to that person and try to learn from that person. Kinkaro. Kinkaro means kinkar, a small pebble. Brahmavadina means the devotee. You're just like a small pebble at the lotus feet of these great personalities. This is how he used to live his life. Very deep. One shlok. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hari Bol, 7-5. So I think we are going to end with Nasima prayer for everyone, for the protection of one and all. Then we are going to go for the cake cutting ceremony, right? Kevin, ready? Hare Krishna. चलिए वही श्री लक्ष्मण सिंह देव भगवान की जय, भक्ति श्रोमणी श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। ओम ह्रीं समुद्रं वीरं महाविष्णु ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्योर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्। Shri Narasimha Jai Narasimha Jai Jai Narasimha Jai Bharadesha Jaya Bhajamadika Shri Narasimha Jai Narasimha Jai Jai Narasimha Jai Bharadesha Jaya Bhajamadika Shri Narasimha Jai Narasimha Jai Jai Narasimha Shri Narasimha Jai Narasimha Jai Jai Narasimha भक्त विघ्न विनाशन भक्त बसर श्री श्री लक्ष्मण सिंह भगवान की भक्ति शिरोमणि श्रीला प्रहलाद महाराज की जगुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की and all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to all the mothers of this world. Hare Krishna. कहाँ है हमारी माताएं? Here our mothers. Hare Krishna. Jai Ho. And let's see Dadi and Nanis. Jai Ho. Hare Krishna.